Why do I hate my job? This is the question so many people ask me, and I'm sure you've heard it yourself, and I'm sure you've probably asked it yourself from time to time. Why do I hate my job? Now, that can be there can be many answers to that question, frankly. But one of the things I want to bring to your attention is that sometimes it is a misalignment of our strengths with our job responsibilities. This was my situation. A number of you have heard my story from the Stone Arch Bridge before, where I would spend every lunch hour walking across the bridge in Minneapolis over the Mississippi, wondering why I was so miserable. I had no right to be because my life was so good on paper. I was employee of the year. I got promoted. Everything was good on paper, but inside I was miserable. And at that moment of desperation, I called my de facto mentor, Paul. He was a adjunct professor when I took my MBA courses, and I just kind of connected with him. And I said, all right, I don't know who else to call. Can you meet? He said, yeah, let's meet tonight. He's a super busy guy, CEO, business owner, but he agreed to meet with me, which is such a gift. And within 10 minutes, he had kind of figured out what was going on. And it came back to my strengths and the misalignment of my strengths with my new job responsibilities in this new promoted role I had just gotten. And so he said, all right, remember when during the MBA program we went through Strengths Finder? I said, yeah, I remember that. He said, do you remember your 5 strengths? I said, yeah, learner, relator, achiever, strategic, self-assurant. He's like, really, really good. So he pulled out a napkin, right? We were meeting at a Byerly's, a little cafe, and he pulled out a napkin and he wrote those 5 things down. And he said, okay, now, before this promotion, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you feel like you were leveraging and utilizing those strengths? I went through each one. They're all 4s and 5s. He said, now, since you got this promotion, how much do you think you're utilizing those strengths? They were like 1s, 2s, and 3s. He said, I've seen this many times before. What's happening is you are not aligned. Your job responsibilities are not aligned with your strengths. And internally, what's happening is you are grieving the loss of using your strengths. Because those strengths are our natural wiring, those things that we love to do, those things that really give us life and make us love our job. And the job that you now have, as good as it is, and as well paying as it is, and the influence and all of those things, exposure to top management, those are good things for a career, but internally, it is bad for you. He said, so you're going to either need to figure out a way to conform to that and just kind of put up with it, or this might not be the right fit for you. And that was so eye-opening because in the past, I'd kind of looked at things like personality tests, Strengths Finder, all of those pieces, like, it's just sort of whatever. It's just not really good for anything. It's kind of those howdy-towdy people, I didn't really connect with it. But this was the first time I really had a direct application to say, this is what's happening. And so I started paying more attention to that. And I've kind of gotten into those things now, some of the personality things, to understand about myself, to understand about others, to understand situations where I'm going to thrive. And I tell you what, it was those moments from Paul that led me on a journey to start to discover more about myself, to live a life that's more aligned with who I truly am, what I authentically want. And it was earth-shattering. And what happened as a result of that is I actually made the decision to approach them and say, thank you for this opportunity. I was only a couple months into it. I said, this is not me. This is not me. I think I can effectively lead it, but I'm not going to stay here very long. I'm going to lose engagement. I'm going to lose productivity because I know that this is not lined up with who I am and what I really want. And I actually went back into an individual contributor role at that point. I said, this is what I want to do. I need to learn, achieve, relate, be strategic. Those are the things that I'm looking for. And so just a bit of encouragement to you guys that sometimes when we hate our job, sometimes they're our bosses. I've had a boss literally that I thought was the devil. I actually had my boss tell me, or their boss tell me, they're not the devil. And I said, sometimes there are terrible situations, and I've been in some of them. But sometimes it's this alignment with our strengths that can not only make us not love our job, it can actually make us hate our job. So I would challenge you to look at that. If you haven't done Strengths Finders, that might be a good way to start. But otherwise, just evaluate on your own. What do I love doing? What am I great at doing? What am I passionate at doing? And then look at your job. What am I being asked to do on a regular basis? And then look and see how well aligned those are. And if they're misaligned, sometimes you have to be drastic like I did, but usually you can tweak it a little bit. Usually you can approach your manager and say, here's the thing. Is there any way that I can incorporate a little bit more of relationship or a little bit more learning or a little bit more strategy into my job? Because I'm sensing a misalignment, and that would help connect me more. It's going to make me more productive. It's going to make me more engaged. It's going to help me stick around longer. And those are magic words to managers' ears. So think about that. My name is Steve Fredlund. I'm known as the Safari Dude. I love inviting people to live and to work and to lead the Safari way, approaching life like an adventure. And this is just one element of that. How do we approach our jobs? How can we be happier on our jobs? How can we not hate our jobs? And so if you like what I have to say, man, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you want to be notified of new videos. Otherwise, check out my website, stevefredlund.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Put your comments below and let's have a conversation about this. But until next time, take care.